And we're live. Sorry about that.
Fantastic. Only
A
took
little
us
bit
two
of
attempts.
yeah. So let's see. We have a few topics. I didn't want to there's a few talking points for this stream, but since it's been a few weeks since we did this, so let's start off with God of War. EA with them saying, "Oh, single player is dead," and everyone else.
Yeah, no
Uh,
kidding.
and I saw. I'm probably gonna do a video on this, but a lot of peers of IGN basically defended that single player games were being destroyed by Twitch and nobody wanted to watch them, and yeah, single players are dead basically.
Which is
Because
ironic because Persona, not only with God of War, but we also had Persona 5 last year, was a phenomenal game and was a contender for Game of the Year.
yeah, Final Fantasy 15, Mario
Hmm.
Odyssey. We
Yep.
had a Zelda. We had Cuphead. We had what else did we have?
We had a
Uh,
lot.
yeah, there were so many games, and I'm so glad that at least Sony, not being trying to be a Sony pony fanboy, but from and also Nintendo, but I don't have the Switch. So I have the PlayStation 4, but I'm really
Mhm.
glad to see that they are putting so much effort into single player gaming. We have Spider-Man coming up as well, uh,
Yeah.
which is gonna be also a huge game. And
Yeah, definitely.
just generally, I think I appreciate much more when companies actually do what the people want, and actually put out games that are well thought out and had let Sony Santa Monica do God of War as they wanted, and of course have seen the SJWs do the whole outrage thing with how it's toxic masculinity and all that. I'm just ignoring this because at this point,
It's
Gamergate
a good
has
game.
yeah, it's a
It's a
good
good
game
game,
and
and customers and gamers are voting with their wallets. The people that write the check, the people that pay these developers checks, are coming forward and saying, "Yes, we like games of this style. I think that you should be making more games like this." And it's nice to see, uh, especially from a especially nowadays, it's nice to see people coming forward and saying, "Yes, this is what we want to see. This is what we like in our games, and we want to support you for doing that."
yeah, and let's see. I have to get the number right. But here we go. God of War sold 3.1 million copies in 3 days.
That's very impressive. That's very, very impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And
That's really
uh,
good.
according to EA, again, single players are dead. Way Out, which is kind of a single player game. It's a co-op game.
Yeah.
But like having story based games is apparently dead, even though the game sold more than they predicted. I think the prediction of that game was around 780,000 copies in its lifetime, and it sold that in a week.
So for comparison, just for the laughs, so God of War sold what you said it was what 3.1 million copies in 3 days.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 sold 4.7 million units in the first 24 hours in the US and the UK. Now, granted, it's kind of an apples to oranges comparison, but still at the same time, that's actually really impressive just for Sony to do a single player only game where there's not that multiplayer, where it doesn't really have quite the widespread approach. And granted, and bear in mind, this is also one platform versus the three, two, three platforms that Modern Warfare 2 released on. That's really
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah. You have PC, PlayStation. Modern Warfare, you said, right?
Modern Warfare 2, yes. So at
Yeah, so
PS3, 360, and PC, yeah.
yeah, so three platforms, and it sold pretty well. So people are
Yeah.
actually hungry for these games, and want to see uh want to see that, because the whole battle royale fad that is right now, like from the reports, from what I've seen, Black Ops is gonna put a battle royale mode, and the new Call of Duty one, and also the new Battlefield game. And like, can you stop? Just like stop.
Paladins is working on High Res Studios, the guys behind Smite. They've got a hero shooter called Paladins. That it's the poor man's Overwatch is the way I like to describe it. It's fun as hell. It's a great game, but you can tell it's an Overwatch. They tried to be an Overwatch clone, but do things a little differently. They're making a battle royale using the characters from Paladins, and I'm sitting here going, why would you do that? Why? It's for the exact same reason. Everybody's trying to jump onto this fad that honestly, I don't think it is in most businesses' best interest to try and do this. I think if you really want to make money, you need to be the first person to market or the first person to do it well. And for the battle royale, I think that ship has sailed. It is time to start looking for the next big thing and start and get the R&D wheels churning on that.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
the marketing 101. I've done a marketing course, and when you go into a market that is already very saturated, you have a limited amount of audience which you can actually get for your game. So with
Exactly.
royale actually kind of peaking right now, there are probably gonna be more people playing Fortnite or PUBG, but the like, it's not gonna grow as massive as it has the last few months. And for other games to just implement it for some reason, these people are not gonna switch games for a game that for a market that has two very solid games, and there is no reason for them to switch. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's basically like we had this a few years ago when Modern Warfare 1 or Call of Duty 4 came out, and
Yeah.
everyone did a modern shooter, and a lot of them failed because
Hmm.
the market was saturated, and people weren't buying those games.
Then you went to third
It's
person cover shooters, and then it was yeah, you can see the evolution as it went.
yeah, and it, the games that actually get popular are the people ahead of the curve, making good games that people find interesting and has a good word of mouth. It's not because people jump on the bandwagon, and Fortnite saw what PUBG did, and tweaked it to something that worked for that game, because
Right.
Fortnite has unique mechanics with the whole Minecraft kind of building, and compared to PUBG, which has a more of a realistic take. So, and for everyone else to just jump on it right now is really freaking stupid. We can
Yeah.
kind of transition into the Far Cry 5, uh, because that game has also got a lot of controversy by being not political at all.
Yeah. Yeah. You make
uh,
a game that's fun, and you don't care about the politics side of things, and you got a recipe for success. Now, political games can work. We've talked about them in the past. I've harped on Spec Ops: The Line numerous times because it's a political game that is done well. It doesn't it it makes you feel like a bad person for playing it the way you do, but it's supposed to, but because that's the intended message, but it's done in a way that is tact, tactful, I would say,
yeah, and
to
well
point
done.
out that war is hell.
Yeah. And for every one of these SGW outlets, like I barely mentioned earlier, like people just want to shit on these games, like God of War, and just find something to complain about instead of just enjoying the game or for what
Kingdom
it
Come
is.
Deliverance.
Yeah, that as
I
well.
mean,
I mean,
I have to commend Daniel Vavra for having the vision and having the vision that he did, putting out a game basically self-published, and doing as well as he has. I mean, I have to commend him for that level of work and that level of detail because that's not easy, and he did a very very good job there.
yeah, yeah, and also standing your ground. Just a minor, off topic, but I mean, never apologize to these people. Just like with this chick who got
Yeah,
ostracized for that prom dress.
yeah,
Uh,
I saw
yeah,
that screenshot in your Discord. Yeah, that was yeah, that one tweet. Yeah, that was
yeah, and afterwards she said she has nothing to apologize for. She liked the dress and likes the culture, so she didn't want to apologize. So that's what you should do these days: stand your ground, don't apologize, and create or wear or do whatever you want as long as it doesn't harm anybody. It should
It
be
reminds me of the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Our Museum of Fine Arts in Boston has a paint had an exhibition of a this one from Jean-Claude Monet. It was a painting of a woman wearing a yukata from Japan, and so they had like a thing of try on a yukata, learn the Japanese tea ceremony, like how it works, the history behind it, and learn more about the culture. And there was this outrage over cultural appropriation and white people wearing Japanese clothing, and you shouldn't be doing this, and the the irony being that there was the Japan America, it was sponsored by the Japan America Society of Boston,
yeah.
and that it was embraced by pretty much universally there. And like there was a video that I saw from somebody over in Japan showed some of the photos of what was going on, and then reading translated comments, and the locals in Japan were saying, "No, this is great. They're experiencing Japanese culture in a way that they would not normally have done so." They loved it, and more to that point, because I've been to Japan twice. There is a saying in Japan that more or less translates to "the nail that sticks up gets hammered down." And a lot of times, Western sensibilities consider it in the form of "the squeaky wheel gets the grease." But the opposite is actually the case. It more refers to conformity above all else. And if you are in another culture, you do everything in your power to absorb that culture and to live as though you were a local. Though it's a when in Rome, it's a very strong when in Rome mentality, and it's you are part of a greater collective. And to that point, they are very open about sharing the local culture with you. If you visit and say, "I want to learn, teach me the right way to do things," they will help you. You could be speaking in very poor, very broken Japanese, but if it looks like you're trying, you could insult their mom and they'd be willing to turn a blind eye. Granted, you won't get that same courtesy twice, but you know, you can
Yeah,
there is that, you know if you want to learn, if you want to be experience another culture, by all means do it. Learn a culture outside of your own, and when you take part and when you exhibit that same culture, do it right, and do it proud.
and and just if we're gonna follow the SJW logic, where you can't create something like Far Cry 5 because it where it dress because it's cultural appropriation or it isn't political enough, like you know that's a really dangerous game to play. Like that would mean everyone except white people would enjoy the fruits of internet
Right.
and
Like
electricity.
me, like me, I love trying, like, I'm a fairly picky eater and I admit it, but I like trying new things, especially foods from cultures outside of my own. Like especially like non-American cuisine. If I can get to like a really divey bar and sample something that I would not normally sample, I love that. I really do.
Yeah, and like if we're gonna do this numbers game or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna backfire really freaking hard on the people claiming cultural appropriation, and they just want to be offended on behalf of others. And Far Cry 5, I haven't played it. I'm probably gonna get it
I
when
have.
when it gets cheaper. I got Far Cry 4.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play that, but I don't no longer pay for games full price except
Yeah.
when it's a limited edition or a
Limited run
collector's.
Atlas game, like Atlas games, let's be honest.
Yeah, or collector's edition. I have this big ass statue of when I bought Shadow of War with Drake and the Balrog right beside me here, which is
Nice.
it's freaking huge. It cost me
Right.
like $250 or something.
But for something
And
like that, it's worth it. You can easily justify something like that.
yeah, exactly. And then that's the only time I'm gonna buy a game that's like full price or even more than
Yeah.
that. But not
Well, and
right
I
now.
bought Far Cry 5 mainly to do a review of it for Steam It. And actually, that review got upvote bombed like crazy. I was getting
Nice.
notifications just like crazy of different people upvoting it, which was great. You know, it was a well received article, and it was actually the top trending post in gaming for a little bit, which was awesome. Um, but like Far Cry 5 has actually done been rather interesting because of the way that it's portrayed religious cults specifically.
Yeah.
And
And cults are a thing. So
oh yeah, and what's been interesting about it is like especially early on, there was a certain Schadenfreude amongst specific news media outlets that were looking forward to giving right wing Trump supporters a taste of their own medicine with a game that they thought they were expecting to be openly bashing uh, the red states. And what's interesting about the game is that that's not necessarily the case. There is a one of the NPCs you talk to, this guy who's running for Senate. He's basically a really cringy satire of the far right conservative Republican base. Um, and it's painful to listen to him listen to him because it's so bad, but at the same time, he's one facet of the overall game. The actual characters you interact with, the NPCs that you fight alongside, are actually really interesting characters. There's this preacher who leads a resistance in one of the areas, and he genuinely cares about his town and the people around him. There's this bar that the it's this guy, the characters you meet. I mean, granted they spend more time fleshing out the villains than the other townsfolk, but the people that you hire alongside you are kind of fun people. Some of the interactions you have between some of them are actually pretty funny. The senator that I mentioned, his son uh is one of these guns for hire, this NPC that'll fight with you, and he's going around with a rocket launcher because Why not? He's basically this redneck hillbilly with a rocket launcher, blow it up, yeah, woo, America. It's sort of kind of a satire, and he's funny as hell, and you love having him around. And it's it's been interesting seeing the turn in opinion since then, since the game has come out, because it's not openly left wing or right wing or anything in or any sort. It's small town sensibility, but I will say you could tell it was written by somebody who's not lived in a small town. Um, it's it's definitely an outsider's view of what small town sensibility is like. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to college in a rural part of Minnesota. It was we had 2,000 people in the town, and that was the largest town for like 50 miles. It was, and coming from large suburb of 50,000. I mean, it was quite a jarring experience for me. But I got to experience that small town mentality firsthand, and it's difficult to describe, but you know it when you see it. I mean, you could describe it as no nonsense. Simpler is better. Just get it done. Don't surround yourself with drama, and that sort of describes it, but it doesn't describe all of it. You know?
Yeah. And we can kind of transition to the Switch. You posted a
Yeah, I've talked enough about Far Cry now.
yeah. I just tried to keep it flowing. So
Yeah.
the Switch. Do you want to talk about it since
Yeah, so I sent.
posted it?
If you want to share the link, I'm pulling it up on my screen right now. If you want to share it on yours, if you want to share that article,
I can present you.
Yeah. So I've got so the Nintendo Switch sales. There's a good chance that the Nintendo Switch is going to. Hang on, let me present application window. Here we go. Share. So now you guys can see this. So it's looking like the Nintendo Switch sales could actually be on hold in the United States for a little bit because of an investigation from the U.S. International Trade Commission. There's this company called Game Vice that has asked the ITC for a limited exclusion order. And I found out about this last night because I got a notification from the No about this. They had a headline: Nintendo Switch could be banned in the U.S. And I was like, wait a second, I'm gonna look up the actual articles and find out what's actually going on. And good thing I did because it was a clickbait title. But it's looking like this Game Vice company sued Nintendo last year in August and then withdrew the lawsuit, which is interesting because that's gonna put a real damper on the validity of this case. But they're trying to get a cease and desist issued because of a similar product that Game Vice made that would connect to two sides of a smartphone or a tablet in a similar way to the Joy-Con handles it. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out, and especially with a withdrawn lawsuit. It's looking like the ITC might oblige it, but the precedent of a withdrawn lawsuit over the same topic is not going to help their case overall.
Yeah, it's kind of the well, we right now we in Europe, some countries have outright banned loot boxes.
Yes, Belgium and the Netherlands is looking like they're next.
Yeah, so those cases might have more of a case because it's the countries doing it, but this kind of seems like kind of in the same vein. But when they have if after they've retracted the lawsuit, I mean, there's not much validity. If the lawsuit would have sticked and they wouldn't have withdrawn, they would have might have seized production or selling them.
They might have had a case, yeah. I mean, honestly, if Game Vice really wanted to do this, they should have gone to the ITC at the time that their lawsuit was active, before it had been withdrawn, because then they would have had a reasonable, hey, put a stay on this until this case resolves. The ITC would have been all over that, and it would have done significant damage to Nintendo at
Yeah,
that point. Because let's be
it,
honest, the Switch was a hot commodity last year.
it's the fastest selling console in US or North America ever.
Faster
So
than the Wii?
yeah,
Color me surprised.
even faster than PS2.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Wow. I'm really that's surprising, but I mean, wow, yeah.
but it's in North America. I don't know if this applies to the rest of the world, and it's but it might also peak. You never know. But right now,
Right, right.
it's really hot, and with the online coming soon as well. I mean, they they have some have a pretty good setup. I mean, if they release Smash along with the online for the Switch, it's gonna sell like
Oh yeah.
hotcakes.
And given the what we've heard from the rumor mill, the odds are good that Nintendo's working on another Smash. I hope they do, because Smash U on the Wii U is actually pretty good. I mean, it is significantly better than Brawl, and the fighting game community has embraced Smash U pretty well. It's just nobody bought a Wii U. I
Yeah,
mean, let's be honest. The only people who bought the Wii U were Smash players, pretty much, and the occasional
yeah, and
collector. But other than that, like, nobody else bought it.
yeah, but there was also a very big bias against the Wii U from the entire from the entire gaming journalist industry.
Yeah.
I've seen I saw a recent example, which was came on my feed where the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze from
Yeah.
GameSpot was rated a 6, and for the Switch it got a 9. And I've seen this for several games, and it's been a topic of discussion for in several Facebook groups, and I've been in video game groups because like was a nice picture of all the same games on Wii U. Everyone said was shit, and now on Switch everybody loves them. So
Yeah.
uh,
It's amazing what public perception can do to a game, you know?
yeah, yeah, and also people just they seem to love the Switch because it's just like Nintendo has really turned around from the Wii U. They really, I mean, gaming wise, they're always on making good games, but it's a console that the name did not help at all. They
Yeah.
should have call it the Nintendo.
Wii U, Wii U.
Yeah, they should have just called it like
Yeah.
Nintendo U or something like that.
Yeah.
That one people because the normies just think it's just an attachment or something like that, extra controller for the Wii. Like
Right. Wii was unique enough in that it had a unique gameplay like mode to it. Like, the motion controller was interesting enough that it caught people's attention, but at the
yeah,
same time, the name Wii is pretty ridiculous. Let's be honest.
yeah, but it's also different.
But but it was different, and it had enough casual appeal that people didn't care about that weird name.
Yeah, yeah, and it had some good games as well. It had like Xenoblade and other games which were interesting for the console, so
Right. And I
people
mean,
bought
for
it.
me, with my Wii U, I don't think I have more than 10 games for it. I mean, I got the Wonderful 101, I've got Zelda Muso, I've got Smash U because conventions, I've got Bayonetta 1 and 2, Zombie U, Super Mario Maker. Like, granted, I've got the games that matter,
Mm.
but beyond that, there really wasn't a huge lineup of titles that you had to have for the Wii U. I mean, I skipped Xenoblade Chronicles, the Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U because of because of the shenanigans that Treehouse pulled on it. I was really looking forward to Fatal Frame 5 until they started changing context in the cutscenes. Because Fatal Frame's an amazing series. Hard as
Yeah,
hell, but hard as hell and super scary. But it's great. They're fun. They're good. I mean, I actually have a Japanese copy of Fatal Frame 4 for the Wii. And you then use the fan translation patch. Great way to do it because it's an interesting game. Not the best in the series, but it's an interesting game and a fun game. And I actually used that when Nintendo was saying they weren't going to bring Fatal Frame 5 to the States. That was one of the things that I used. That was one of the talking points when I called Nintendo customer service. I said, "Hey, I modded my Wii to play Fatal Frame 4. I'll do it for my Wii U to play Fatal Frame 5. I will wait for the mods to come out. I will wait for the fan translation patch, and I will buy a Japanese game. Nintendo Japan will get my money. Nintendo America won't. Simple as that."
yeah, that's a fair thing to do, and like I think also just general, like we said with God of War, make good games and people are gonna buy them, and I think
Right.
they are interesting.
That is exactly it. I think we've beaten that topic enough. What's next? The Bully Hunter thing. Yeah, we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's kind of the headline of our stream. Uh,
Yeah.
oh my God, where should we start with
Where do
this?
we begin with this one? Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about it, like,
It's a clusterfuck
it
to
really
read.
was.
Like,
And you've got all the right intentions, but you're doing it in all the wrong ways. Like,
you know, all the ways you could do it wrong in, I did.
yeah. Let's see.
Like,
How badly can we fuck this up? Let's see. We can start with.
first of all, let's have a presenter who is a hypocrite by saying stuff online and then whining on this stream about the same things she has done. You have a diabetes doctor or seller or whatever acting like some expert on the panel, and
Yeah, like the one that bugged me was I don't remember who it was. It was somebody on Twitter asked to see the data for one of the statistics that they mentioned about the number of women who have been bullied online, and the methodology behind it because she was a medical researcher and had
yeah,
access to
psychologist.
quite a few psychologists, yeah, and it was. And when she asked for the source, um, the response she got was just watch the stream, and then to say, hey, something's up, and because I am a doctor, I've got the credentials and I have the research cred to back it up, to say, hey, something's up here, for her to get. I mean, she was attacked for that, and with some very vile comments. Like, she posted she did up a blog post about it, and I was like, like, she was very well written in the way she wrote it.
Yeah, and you know, do you know what the 3 million women who were like left gaming, and 21 million women who were sexually harassed or something? Do you know what the so-called study it came from?
Yeah, she wound up finding that. Yeah, it was based on an online survey that was done on, was it Reddit or
Online.
Facebook?
That's the most important thing. Online survey, which isn't a study at all. It's a survey. Having a Twitter poll is more scientifically accurate than this one. Had
And
eight
it had
hundred,
a sample size of 1,000.
no less. It had
Was it
a
less than
sample
1,000? I thought it was.
874 people.
Oh wow, I thought it was over 1,000.
No, and
Huh.
and it was I think Top Hats and Champagne did a really good video on this, going through the so-called study, but essentially was it was getting insults. Goddamn motorbike. Sorry about that. Um, it was basically, God damn it, driving like
Shut
insane.
up!
So it was basically women, I think mostly women, who took the survey, and what counted as sexual harassment is was being insulted by being called cunt, bitch, or something like that.
I
And
think "you suck" was also one of the
yeah,
examples used as well.
yeah, and basically just insults online, and some women and the statistics which they derived from 3 million women were don't want to play online is basically the 30% or something like that, or 20 something like that, didn't want or had less motivation to play online because of the insults, but they weren't preventing themselves from playing online. They just had less motivation, and then they just took this the poll and put it on how many women are there in the US playing games. So around
How many
50
how many
million.
how many female I thought it was that they were basing it off of console owners.
Yeah, something like that. So you have, I think it was, you have 50 million female gamers or something like that, and then you had, they put it down to 20 who were console owners, and then the whatever percentage they had from the survey, they just put up, oh, this many no longer played online games.
Yeah, it was very much a stretch. It required a lot of extrapolation to
It's
reach
not
that
just a
point.
stretch. It's you have to be a Mr. Fantastic to stretch that wide. To
I think you mean Elastigirl.
Yeah, well, but you have Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four. He can
Oh,
stretch.
right, dirt. I open mouth, insert foot.
Yeah, and and I watched the stream itself, and oh my god, the gameplay was so staged. And of course, people found out because it's the internet that it was the same people who were playing the game who were harassing themselves during
Yes,
gameplay.
I saw that they pulled up the Steam profile and found a and basically figured that out. Yeah, that it was
Yeah,
all that was the that was
because
going on.
because they can watch a account changing names, and they figured out it was just one account,
Yeah,
and the most awesome thing is, like, how would this be in practice? Like, if it's a ranked game in CS:GO, which I don't play CS:GO, but if it's a ranked match, you can't enter. Like, if you get bullied in that match, you just have to leave basically
yeah.
because you,
That's a casual match. That was definitely casual matches they were playing, which
yeah,
casual in CS:GO is a cesspool. I cannot play casual, and nobody wants to play ranked with me because I'm not that good at ranked. But I'd rather play ranked than play casual.
yeah, and why and how would this even work with other games?
It
Like,
wouldn't.
yeah,
It
yeah,
wouldn't.
it's logistic nightmare how this would work, and how like they would only accept female gamers as the bully hunters, and they would have to have a certain amount of skill. So they are using meritocracy to bully the bullies and kill them. But why doesn't the person who is getting killed and is a woman just get better instead of letting someone else who is
And
better
and
kill the other?
And why not report them to the devs anyways? I mean, let's be honest. If somebody's engaging in harassing behavior,
Yeah,
they're
it's
like that is baked into the terms of use of pretty much terms of service for pretty much every online game on the market. You will not harass, you will not bully, you will not stalk anyone. It's in the terms of service. You do that, you report for harassment, say here, you say, hey, he's doing this, this, and this. It's basically open shut. That person's getting that ass is getting banned. Don't drop the soap. They are out of here. Lock them,
and
get them gone, and throw away the key.
and this whole online harassment thing, like you have the Tyler Creator version, but you also have all the tools. You can lower the volume on your TV, you can block them, you can mute them, or just leave the goddamn game and find a new lobby.
Yeah,
Like how hard is it? And just like the after and the Steel series got, holy crap, the amount of bad publicity they got from this. And what was it,
to be fair,
the
SteelSeries did something right with that though.
yeah, sure, but like
The turn when they realized their mistake, the apology to me felt sincere. It felt
yeah,
like a sincere apology. They meant what they said.
yeah, of course, but I'm just saying you should background check whatever you associate with. And you also had the what was it, the foundation of some LGBTQA whatever alphabet comes after that, some kind of foundation or organization. God damn it, what is it? Motorbike season something. um
Must be getting nice out there.
yeah, and yeah, so and that side as well, who was mentioned several times during the stream, also basically said, nope, we didn't agree to this and we're out.
Yeah,
And then and you also had the streamer, what's her name, Casanova or something, Unicorn. She goes by two names, I keep mixing them. She goes by Unicorn, Miss Casanova or whatever. And she basically said, "Yeah, I'm out as well." And they had scripts for the entire stream, so none of it was real.
yeah. I think that was the biggest, that was the most damning point, was that it wasn't real. You know?
Yeah, yeah, and oh my god, like, and and it's basically now it's just like Pepperidge Farmer remember is
Yeah,
uh
Pepperidge Farm remembers. It's true. Pepperidge Farm does remember. They remember all right.
like Bullyhunters is has disappeared from this earth, basically. Like it's just those who remember this stupid thing they did. Oh my god, it's just this shit show of everything that can go wrong went wrong with this one.
Yeah, it's true. It really is.
And it's appropriate to call it a clusterfuck because holy crap,
It was
that was a
so poorly designed from the beginning
oh yeah, oh yeah.
that it just, yeah, it really was an awful setup.
So talking about badly organized, we have the Countancula thing
Yeah,
where he we got the sentencing, £800, which is basically $1,200, and he
yeah.
donated it to a children's hospital instead of giving it to the police.
Are
Uh,
they able to do that in the UK? Is that a
no,
thing, or?
it's basically just a fuck you because he has appealed, and he has done a legal fund because all of this time I have to give mad respect to him. He did not set up a GoFundMe or ask for money for the trial, but now he wants to set a precedent and wants to appeal and get this overturned with free speech in Britain, and wants to change it.
More
And
power to him on that one. I mean,
yeah,
He's right. I mean, the joke, the joke that he made with his pug doing the little salute and everything, and calling his pug a Nazi, definitely in poor taste. I don't think anybody. I don't think you'll have. I don't think you'd be able to find anybody that would disagree with you on with us on that point. That was not exactly the best joke to make. But I am hard pressed to want to imprison him or fine him for it.
Yeah, like if anyone should be offended, it's me with a German background and
Yeah,
heritage. I don't feel offended at all. Frankly, it's just a stupid joke. But the thing is, in the sentencing, you can hear my dog barking, of course. The sentencing is that context doesn't matter, and that's a
yeah,
really dangerous road to go down.
yeah. It opens up the door to V for Vendetta. Let's be honest. And
Yeah.
1984.
Yep. Exactly.
And
And
that's really the crux of the argument, and that should he be reviled for the joke? Sure. Should people call him out for making a joke in very poor taste? Sure. Should he go to jail for it? No. Should he be fined for it? I don't think so. I mean, it just doesn't sit right with me.
yeah, and like you should just tell him like it's a stupid joke.
Yeah,
But
tell him, hey, that was a dumb joke. That was a bad joke. I don't like that. You absolutely say that.
like you can say like whenever you think something isn't funny or inappropriate, whatever. Yeah, that's not, oh, I'm censoring speech. It's just saying, hey, that's a stupid joke. Everyone does it anytime, anywhere in this any social setting. God damn it, dog. But generally, like you should be able to do whatever you want, but you're not free from consequences at
Right.
any point. So if it's
But
a
the
stupid joke,
consequences should not be jail time.
exactly, that's the thing I'm trying to say. It should not go where you should go to jail or face a fine of somewhat because you said something that was basically stupid. They are basically saying it's illegal to be stupid.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm reminded of a stand-up bit by Craig Ferguson. I don't know if you know you've
I know is.
okay, yeah. He had a great bit in one of his Netflix specials about how there's only two people groups that you can make fun of and get away with it. Nazis and Irish people. Nazis because nobody in their right mind would identify as a Nazi in this day and age. It is a recipe for disaster. And the
It's
Irish, because
yeah,
they get that it's a fucking joke.
yeah, and you also have like it's a, what would it be? It's social suicide to call yourself
Yeah,
a Nazi.
right. But at the same time, make jokes at the Reich's expense. Absolutely, by all means. It's let it stand as a reminder of and I firmly believe that we should be mindful of and remember what happened almost 80 years ago now. That if we don't remember the past, we will repeat it. And if we scrub all mention of it, it only opens the door for it to happen again. I
Yep.
think talking about it, I think remembering it, remembering the atrocities, remembering the victims, remembering the horrid way that remembering just how we got how Germany reached that point. Let that serve as a reminder and remember that, study it, remember it, so that we don't make the same mistake again.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that, that's one thing that's always bugged me about Germany is their insistence on no mention of the Reich, no mention of what happened. just scrub it from modern memory.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
that's
I,
true.
I, you know, I it bothers me to no end because we forget, we make the same mistakes. At some point, I want to get to Germany in my life. It's on my bucket list, specifically to be out there for Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah.
But and spend time in Bavaria. I want to go explore. I want to go explore the countryside.
Yeah,
But while I'm out there,
if it's full, you can also go to the western end. You have Stuttgart and Munich,
yep,
both in the south. South. You have the the Oktoberfest in Munich, and you have the Volksfest in Stuttgart. So
yep,
going to either of them, you don't really lose. So yeah,
yeah. But like while I'm out there, I do want to go visit some of those historical locations. It's on my bucket list. Like if I can, I want to get out to Bergen-Belsen and Auschwitz and everything. Not because like it's not because oh I should go check this out, but in a much more somber remember what happened here so that we don't repeat it. It you know with it's I take a much more serious approach to it because I don't want to see it happen again.
yeah,
It's kind of a macabre reason for wanting to go to Auschwitz. I want to go to Bergen-Belsen. I want to see these locations, but I want to do it for very specific reasons.
yeah,
I also
yeah,
want to go. I also want to visit Itterstein in Austria. Uh, but that's for entirely different reasons. Um, have you heard about the Battle of Itterstein?
no, I haven't.
It was one of the last. It was one of the last
Is it the
conflicts
Eagles
of the
nest?
Second
Is
World War.
is it the Eagles nest?
No, it's not. No, that's a
Okay.
different one. I know what one you're talking about. That's not this. Itzer is a city. It's right on the border between Germany and Austria, and it was kind of the storybook kind of town, real sleeper town. But the castle was used for high value POWs by the Nazi regime. So they had
Oh,
the sister of General de Gaulle, some French tennis player. The French prime minister was housed there. Some resistance leaders were also kept there. And like 2 or 3 days after Hitler died, um, the guards that managed the prison, like they knew what was coming. They saw the writing on the wall, and they unlocked all the doors, said, "We're going to go surrender to the Allies." And they reached out. They made arrangements. There was an attachment from it was one of the infantry regiments from the U.S. was just outside of town, so they made arrangements.
okay.
And
Oh,
so it was the long story short, it was U.S., French, and and ex-Nazis fighting Nazis
huh.
with a single tank,
Nice.
and it was one of the weirdest battles of the war, in this quaint little storybook town, and it was just for the ridiculous of it all. I want to go visit that castle.
Yeah, that actually sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You
Go
also
read
that have
about it. It's a funny turn of events.
huh. Yeah, I probably should. One thing I haven't put on the agenda.
Mhm.
Um, have you seen
I'm sorry,
any
say that again.
have you
You're breaking up here. You're gonna have to try that one more time.
oh sorry, have you seen the latest Avengers movie?
I have not. I
Oh, okay.
I saw the first
Just wanted
Avengers
to
movie on Netflix. I need to. I do need to see it.
I just wanted to hear if you liked it or not. Was the only reason I wanted to ask you.
I gotcha.
I really liked it. I'm probably gonna post a review for it sometime
Nice.
when I've gathered my thoughts on it. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
should.
yeah.
No, I've been keeping up on Gotham, which has been
Okay.
actually really fantastic. I'm liking what they're doing with it. It's
Yeah,
actually really good.
I didn't really like the first season, but
You know,
I
once they got into the second season, it started to really pick up, and they're bringing in other characters, and like you have to realize that they're taking Hollywood license with it, and once if you're okay with that, then everything else just kind of everything else just kind of falls into place.
yeah, I have been catching up on the DC series like
Supergirl,
Flash,
yeah.
Supergirl, all of them, and like the one I didn't really hated because of the SJW politics, because in one episode, unironically, one of the characters says white male privilege to the senator, and I'm like facepalm, like please keep this out of, like, do interesting storylines with Supergirl, have her face like real moral issues and like everyday issues instead of
Yeah,
this crap. And in the second season, after like the first episode, when this character is gone, I'm like, holy crap, this is an entire different series, this is actually good.
thank God.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, whoever is writing that character, get that person fired and never return this character ever.
Yeah, get the
And
fuck out. Yeah.
yeah, get the fuck out. And it's been so r- good to watch that series now that I'm really enjoying it, and then that's why I hate politics in whatever. Like we said with Far Cry, and like just make a good game, make something I want to watch, and I'm gonna watch it. And
Yeah.
and same thing like DC's Legend of Tomorrow, kind of
Mhm.
dive into it, but it's more of a historical context. So I kind of accept it because one of the characters is black, and they go back to like the 19th century,
Oh yeah.
before the slavery was abolished. And it was kind of an interesting take on it, even though kind of overbearing at times, kind of in your face. But I mean, it wasn't really like to preach to you. That's
Yeah.
when things get really uninteresting, when they
Mhm.
have a moral high ground. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, anywho, I have to get going. Celebrating Mother's Day early with my wife's family,
yeah. Well,
so we'll have
we've
to.
been here an hour, so
Yeah, I think we got ourselves a winner here, and yeah, this has been
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I've shilled all your links in the comments below. So if you
Fantastic.
wanna, if you I actually put you up as co-host out because that's basically what you are.
All right,
Um,
works for me.
and yeah, if anything else want to say before we leave?
I think when you do your review of Infinity War, you should totally post that up on Steemit. I linked to your channel on D Live here. I've been streaming this on D Live today, and yeah, I'm gonna drag you over eventually.
I have an account, but I have
you've done
to.
you've done fuck all with it too.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I have to upgrade my PC so I can do stream on several sites and do more interesting things because my
Yeah,
PC is 8 years old now. So uh,
yeah.
yeah, I have to upgrade. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Bye.